What's up, guys? Sorry for the mix-up here today. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it looks like YouTube had an issue with the time change. So super sorry about the confusion. I guess it's showing up for you guys. It was supposed to start at 6:30. I set it for 7:30. I'm not sure again what YouTube's issue is, but because my laptop time's correct, but YouTube's apparently struggling. So anyway, guys, it's been forever since we've done a live stream. Have a little bit of a different background here. So again, guys, sorry. Welcome to the live stream. We're going to get back to doing these regularly. My little desk contraption I have here is not super sturdy, but we're going to be all right. I am getting a new setup for where I actually live stream. So we have some lights coming. We have a new desk coming. So hopefully the next live stream is perfect without any of these time issues. So now, again, man, I am so sorry for the mix-up here, guys. So anyway, I took a little bit of a break. I didn't really post in October, but we are back. We have some stuff done to the 6.7. Some of you guys that follow me on Instagram have probably already seen that. And again, guys, we're going to run this just like we always do. Questions, whatever they are, I will answer them. I am super excited to get to talk about Blessed Performance, and he's been cool enough. Got to open my energy drink here. It's Amia. How you doing, brother? It's Amia is the one that actually reached out to me and let me know that there was an issue in the first place. So thank you for doing that. I did start a couple minutes earlier than I intended, but you guys all thought it was supposed to be forever ago. So what happened to my 6.0 Powerstroke is probably why a lot of you guys clicked, because that's the title of this one. And of course, we're going to do our normal Q&A that we always do as well. So I haven't been able to get to the shop to actually talk to Greg, but lost compression. The 6 liter is still coming back. And part of why I chose to do this for the title of our first live stream back was because I've gotten a lot of questions lately about it. I don't even know how many questions I've gotten the last week. I've gotten a ton asking, where's your 6 liter? What happened to it? So I want to say it's cylinder number 8 is the one that lost compression, which is pretty upsetting. Especially all the work that went into the engine. So I think it's our top 3 most likely things: cylinder head, the piston itself, or the rings on the piston could be it. Thank you. I appreciate that. But the 6 liter is going to come back because 1, I love my 6 liter. 2, I think owning a 6.7 and a 6 liter, I think what's cool about that is, 1, I think they're 2 of Ford's most popular platforms that that can be competitive in power. Obviously, if you get a 15 or later 6.7, it is easier to make a lot more power with them. But at the same time, the 6 liter, I think it's kind of cool to show what a 6 liter can do in competition with that as far as towing performance, and like people that really use their truck but want some of the perks of some of the newer vehicles. So I think it's going to be cool to be able, got to make sure I cover the logo here. So the 6 liter is coming back. I am very excited to do that. Guys, real quick, we have 13 people in here. We have 6 likes. We need to fix that. Get those likes up. Where we're at 14 people. Let's get our likes up to how many people are in the live stream. Josh, Kill Devil diesel heads are phenomenal. I will say this: if it is in the cylinder head itself, there's a lot to consider. 1, I'm using one of his older castings. I know he has switched some things around since then to increase reliability and any issues that could arise. The other thing is, I'm not easy on this truck. It could be something I did while working on it. Maybe, a bolt could have come loose in the intake manifold and dropped down in and is holding valve open, though I don't think that's it because it's not an intake valve. It's not pushing back out the intake. So I don't think that's it. But it could be something dumb in there. It's not a rocker. We did confirm that already. So I honestly think it's probably in the bottom end, which really, really sucks because that's going to be really expensive to mess with, because basically then the engine's got to come out, to which I need to sit down and think about, at the bare minimum, I think at that point, I'm going to at least look for a Kill Devil Diesel short block. Since I have the cylinder heads and stuff, I'd probably just get a Kill Devil Diesel short block, get this one back together. Because again, we have the cylinder heads. I'd have the cylinder heads gone over by the guys over at UCF. Is actually like only an hour away from me. So I would hit those guys up and have them probably do a port job and just go over everything. Some heavy. Jeremiah, no, the 6 liter's been down for a while. But I mean, it has, my 6 liter has a lot of upgrades. It's got a stage 2 Colt cam in it. It's got Kill Devil heads, injectors, turbo, intercooler, exhaust manifolds, intake manifold, intercooler piping kit, fuel system. Well, at least half the fuel system. We run a FAS. I think it's 125 gallon per minute or whatever it is. The measurement is for that. 125 gallon per minute fuel pump. So when it does come all back apart, I am deciding if I'm going to do an install video of a regulated return with the cab down, as opposed to doing one with the cab off. And just basically when Greg's putting it back together. So not sure what I'm going to do there. The bonuses of the Kill Devil Diesel short block that's being asked here. So their stage 1 short block's probably what I would go with. I'd probably at least change the cam to a stage 2, just because I think it's a little bit better of a cam for what I'm doing. But gallons per hour. Thanks, man. So gallons per hour, not gallons per minute. 125 gallons. I should have thought about that. 125 gallons per minute is absurd. But anyway, so the perks to buying a Kill Devil Diesel short block would be, one, the warranty. It's 3 years, unlimited miles, I believe, which is, you don't see warranties like that super often. So that would kind of be number one in that regard. The other thing, it's completely blueprinted out. Everything's perfectly balanced and gone through. You have perfectly flat deck surfaces. So when you do put your cylinder heads on, you're going to have a great mating surface. You're not going to have issues there. When you get the Kill Devil cylinder heads, what makes them nice is there's additional valve clearance in them for people that are putting them on used blocks that haven't all been made perfect the way his are. But that'd really be it. It's just everything is put together correctly. It's using quality parts, not using cheap stuff. I mean, he's really helped push forward in the performance area. For 6 liters, he's really a big part. Him and Keeter, Keeter and him, I guess, technically did together along with KC Turbo. I mean, those guys are really responsible for how successful the 6 liter platform has been in the last, I want to say 8, maybe not quite 8, at least 6 years. I'm trying to think. I don't know that Kill Devil Diesel probably wasn't around 8 years ago. They've probably only been around for about 5 or 6 years, but again, amazing stuff they did that's kind of led to the resurgence of the 6 liter. I bought a 6 liter when nobody liked them still, when the only thing people said good about them was how great they sound. So I have to say, I hate my current setup. But like I said, we have a new desk and everything on the way, so it'll be nice in a little bit. So anyway, yeah, so that's really the big deal with that. Check my prior message. My cruise control went out. 2005 XLT replaced that sensor on the booster with Ford parts. So Jay, I can't remember exactly where the sensor goes to on them. Did you check the pressure pads to make sure that those are all working and that's not your issue? That'd kind of be where under the steering wheel itself, and then I'd try to find some kind of diagram to follow where that stuff all leads to. But anyway, Kill Devil Diesel quality stuff. So if it is in my cylinder head, it's nothing to worry about. I personally think it's more likely that we're talking a piston issue than anything else. The cylinder walls and the camera that went in he did scope the engine, pulled an injector out, put a scope down there, or the glow plug, I can't remember which. And Jay, did you check the I always wonder if there's a delay between my talking and the messages coming out. But Jay, did you check the pressure controls, like the on-off buttons on your steering wheel itself in conjunction with the sensor? But on my 6-liter, I think, I'm trying to change subject. I hear a lot of bad stuff about those body mounts. My recommendation, what I'm going to do on all my trucks when they need it, is S&B. So I do think the white truck's probably going to get a set of S&B when it goes when the cab gets pulled, just because it's literally only buying the part. There's literally nothing else to be charged for. So that's probably what I'll do there. But yeah, S&B makes really good stuff. Some people like the body mounts you're talking about, but a lot of people have complained about fitment issues and them making the ride uncomfortable because it's such a sturdy bushing. But I mean, they're good in the sense of, I hear the people that put them on say they last long, but as far as you get a lot of noise and decreased ride quality. Okay, Jay. So my next thing would be I would tear the buttons out of the steering wheel. I'd look into how to take them apart and go from there. Josh, I did do lifters. So I did lifters. So I did a cam, brand new lifters, and a push rod setup from Kill Devil Diesel with the cylinder head all at the same time. How much power can you put through a stock transmission? So Jake, here's one thing with that. Having 600 horsepower and using 600 horsepower, as opposed to having 600 horsepower and not using it, are two very different things. So you get guys that say, oh, I made this and don't have issues, and guys that make a lower number and have issues. If you're at the track doing power braking your truck to try to get in the boost before you go, that's hard on your transmission. Launching like that is hard on your transmission, because you go from 0 to holy crap, you're in the boost. It's down low in the RPM range, so it can be very hard. But the biggest things I think happen to 5R transmissions that a lot of guys don't talk about, and I've addressed this in my transmission videos, I think really the biggest thing we need to look at is, how are you maintaining it? Are you even maintaining it? You need to drop the pan, get fresh fluid in there. Don't flush your transmission, but get fresh fluid in it. Get one of the Magtech or BD Diesel or AFE, whoever is making one of the cast pans, and put that on there, because you're gonna get I think it's I can't remember, torsional flexion, which basically means as the power's going through it, it's twisting the transmission itself. So you want to watch out for that. And what happens when you get that deep dish cast aluminum pan is it'll help stiffen up the transmission itself. That'll help prevent the 3 to 5 shift flare the 5Rs are known for. And just because you have a 3 to 5 shift flare doesn't mean there's an issue. There's other setups out there that you can replace the plastic plugs with aluminum ones that's in the valve body. I think that would be beneficial as well for some of us. When you get the deep dish aluminum, the cast aluminum pan, also get a 6.4 transmission filter and replace the paper filter on your 6-liter. There's one that's up by the passenger side front wheel. It's a little aluminum housing off a transmission line heading back to the transmission. So replace that as well. And I really think at that point, you can really reliably put 550 through it. maybe 600. But again, that's provided that you're not like on it. You need to make sure that you are not like beating the crap out of it. You know, if you're doing burnouts and you're launching it hard left and right, it's going to be harder on a stock transmission. It just is. But again, making sure you do those maintenance things to take care of your transmission are also going to be super important, because you can make 400 horsepower and kill a 5R, even though they're super durable, if you haven't changed the transmission fluid in 150,000 miles. So I think those are super important things to kind of consider that a lot of guys don't talk about. I will say it's pretty well stated that 500 horsepower is completely safe. But again, take care of those maintenance items. I think you can probably push that to 550 if you're kind of being careful, and again, you've maintained it and you're not beating on it every time you go to drive the truck. How much power on a stock bottom end? So on a stock bottom end, typically you're looking at about 650 is about the max that you can be reliable. I'm sure there's guys pushing it further. So really what kills stock bottom ends, connecting rod issues really is kind of the big thing. To which the factory connecting rod is truly a pretty impressive piece that it's able to handle 650-ish horsepower reliably. It doesn't mean that if you push 600 horsepower, you won't bend a rod, guys. These trucks are getting old, and you got to kind of take that into account. They've been through a lot of heat cycles now. So about 650 is really what they'll hold. Again, though, it's if you're running compounds, say you're running a small compound setup to make 650, that's going to be harder on the connecting rods than running a big single. So if you're running like a S, I don't know if a 369 will do it. You might need to go to like a 71 turbo, but basically if you're running a big single, that's not going to spool super well down low. By the time it's making all its power, you're going to be higher in the RPM band, and the engine's going to be able to better handle it, as opposed to hitting boost at a real low RPM. Like if you were to run like a VGT charger, I think is probably harder on it because they tend to spool faster. They'll have a harder time making that 650 horsepower than a big single, but since they spool faster, they're going to be harder on your bottom end too. So a lot of that goes into mind, but for most people, again, excluding guys running compounds, about 650 is really considered to be what a 6-liter stock bottom end can handle. It's a Mia. Good advice there for Jay. Let me build something that can hurt some feelings on the street. May run it down the track every couple weekends. So if I was to blow the trans, what parts would you recommend upgrading? So if you were to blow so here's my thing with transmissions is if you're going to race them, if you plan to race them, you like going to the track. I personally say buy once, cry once. Get a fully built transmission if you're going to be doing that kind of work to it. We had a local shop build mine. And I will say built transmissions drive differently. They do. I like it in my 6-liter a lot. God, do I miss that truck. Which reminds me, guys, I need to talk about 10,000 subscriber giveaways we're going to do. There's going to be a limited time shirt as well. So somebody remind me to talk about that before this live stream's over. Also, we're at 24 viewers and only 16 likes, guys. Let's fix that. 23. Goodness. We're losing people. So quick fix that, guys. Let's get those likes up to where we're at with viewers. We're at 17 likes now. We got 24 of you guys in here. Let's fix it, guys. Anyway, so built transmissions, what do I recommend? Suncoast has the greatest write-up I've ever read about these trucks and their transmissions. I highly recommend going over to their website and checking it out. On that note, what I did on mine is I went with stock solenoids. I don't recommend those upgraded solenoids. I think they're garbage personally, especially when in tuning. It's an electronically controlled valve body. Your tuner can adjust most of these things. I just don't think it's worth messing with those aftermarket solenoids. And I've heard very mixed reliability concerns with OEM guys. You're good to go. So do that. I have an OEM non-modified pump. And then other than that, we went full billet. So if there's a billet upgrade for that transmission, it's in my truck. Added clutches again, and basically it's a built Suncoast transmission is pretty much what it is. Now, Suncoast transmission, if you were to buy that, you're talking, I think it's like 14 grand. I did not spend that. I mean, I'm terrible with money in the 6-liter, but I did not spend 14. I believe I have about 8,500 in my white truck's transmission, and that's with powder coating. We did a shift kit as well. GPZ clutches are in there and steels, which Warren Diesel sells a kit. Most of these top builders are basically using Suncoast transmissions build kits. 10 grand. Samwise transmission, same thing. They're basically using, like, a lot of these guys are buying all their stuff from Warren Diesel because he's selling in so much volume. So I've talked to a few of these builders and most of them have confirmed it. So it's essentially a Suncoast transmission. Now my billet input shaft, there's 3 different grades of input shaft you can go with. I did the middle grade. So not the cheapest billet one, but not the most expensive. And for what I plan to do with my white 6-liter, that's really going to be perfect. Now, if you're one of the guys that's going to just looking for a slight upgrade, I'd go with like a Warren Diesel, like a stage 2. You get the clutches, the transmission's gone through. I think it has like a billet input shaft. These trucks really aren't known for snapping, like breaking a lot of these parts, unless you're making some pretty good power. So for most people, if you're going to be, if you know you're not going to abuse your truck, you're just going to do some, even if you're heavy towing, which I know is hard on the truck, but you're not racing it and beating on it at the track. You drive relatively sensibly out and about. I'd go with probably like their stage 2, get a billet input shaft, the added clutches, a shift kit. Warren Diesel actually sells them for a decent price. It's still expensive. Transmissions in these trucks just aren't cheap. But most people don't need to go the route I went. Let's see here. Just looking to build something. Yeah, so Jake, I hope that answered your question, Jake. If it didn't, ask what you're looking for specifically. And definitely check out the transmission video. I've done like 1 or 2 of them. They've and I go into a lot of detail there. Kirk, what kind of issues you having, brother? I don't know if I missed a post earlier, if you're just joining in, but welcome. Okay, so the 3 to 5 shift flare. So the 5R is known for a 3 to 5 shift flare, and what really happens, one, there's a few things people don't realize about the 5R. One, it actually is a 6-speed transmission, but I think its 4th gear is only used in cold conditions as a way of helping warm up the truck. I think the 6R that the 6.7s used were the same way, although I don't think the 10 speeds do that. I think the 10 speed is just a 10-speed transmission, but I think the 6R has 7, but again, it only uses 6 at a time. Again, could be wrong. I'd have to look into that, but the 5R definitely uses, has 6 gears, only will ever use 5 in rotation. So the 3 to 5 shift flare, what happens with that is I discussed that torsional flexion that happens, which again, the case of the transmission's under such pressure that the front end is going this way and the back end's going this way. So this is a very exaggerated thing. So picture your hands lining up perfectly front to back. And those are the ports that are inside the transmission. And as it flexes, some of those ports don't line up. And on the 3 to 5 shift flare, that's part of the issue. So that's why some people, when they turn around and up the pressure for it, it helps kind of mask the symptoms. when really the big issue down the road is that you need to get some more rigidity in the case itself. It's a long transmission, especially when you look at it compared to like Dodge transmissions. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Ford should put a Dodge transmission in their truck because those transmissions are garbage, but it's such a big case that a lot of the ports don't line up the same. So when you get like I have a billet center support from Suncoast in my transmission, that helps. And then again, that cast aluminum casing that isn't going to let it bend as much is super important to helping to prevent those conditions. Let's see here. It's at Ford right now, but I have draining the batteries, taking forever to build boost and running on 4 cylinders when it does start. Well, I have definitely missed some stuff here. Sorry guys, just getting caught up here in the transmission. Mongoose, how you doing, brother? So electrical issues that will make it not start. So I did see down here you're saying it's running on partial cylinder, or it's only running on 4 of them. I highly doubt you've lost compression in 4 cylinders. So I'm going to say most likely you're looking at a FICM issue. I would say the logic side, I would probably, one, I would pull all the codes, get a fresh set of batteries, check your electrical system as well. Weak electrical systems on these trucks are very hard on FICMs and are known to kill your FICM. But it seems like the logic side is your issue, that you're running on such low, which if you don't have the fuel, you won't build boost. Oh wait, I see now you're talking oil pressure. Well, if it's not cranking the engine over fast enough, that's going to be hard. But you could have 2 issues at the same time. But electrical issue, I would say most likely you're looking at a FICM, or it could be a cam sensor, cam crank. One's in the front, one's in the rear. I'd look for cam crank sync. I'd look for FICM sync. I would check voltage of your FICM, but it sounds like your logic side is damaged. Now, I will say before I did anything, I would check each one of my plugs on the injector, check the plugs on the back of the FICM itself before I replaced it, because they're not cheap to get a quality one. The guys over at FICMrepair.com are excellent, though, and they're also very helpful. So if you have any questions, give them a call, and they will help you out. My allergies are so bad right now. Let's see here. Powerstroke, guys, everybody needs to quick open up in a different page, a different YouTube, and go follow Powerstroke. He is awesome. He's got a cool 7.3, and hopefully one day him and I are able to meet up and have some fun, make some videos together, take each other for a ride in there. Be nice to go for a ride in a 500 horsepower now? I think it's 500 horsepower 7.3. Super cool guy, great content. Go check him out. Seriously, I love checking his channel out and talking with him. We've become good friends during this, and it's kind of cool to get to bounce stuff off another content creator that's in a very similar market to me. So super cool dude. Check out Powerstroke. Compression's good. Not real serious issues, just 14-year-old truck. Yeah, like I said, these trucks aren't new. They just, they need some love, that's for sure. And they're not cheap to fix. Like you need front end work when you talk ball joints, wheel bearings, especially 05 and newer. The wheel bearings on them are like double what the 99 through 04 trucks wheel bearings cost. Should have brought tissue. Would you ever recommend the clutch solenoid upgrade or replacement if it were just to keep the 5R stock? If so, a certain manufacturer. Side note, thank you for your vid. Zach, no problem, man. I do not recommend clutch solenoid upgrades at all. I recommend tuning, and I would recommend getting, you may not have been in the live stream when I said it, so maintaining your transmission. Drop the pan, don't flush your transmission. Drop the pan, get one of the big, thick cast aluminum pans that have basically like a 1/4-inch flange that mounts to the transmission. That'll help stiffen it up so that torsional flexion that we've discussed isn't an issue, which will help with some of your shifting. Fresh transmission fluid in there and a fresh 6.4 filter. When you get that deep pan, you'll be able to use the 6.4 filter, which sits down a little lower, but it also does a much better job of filtering and providing sufficient flow. Let's see here. Not even trying to be like just lazy. Don't feel like I'm oil. No, we won't be doing any roasting, brother. Hey, look at that, 36. That's one of our highest live streams going on. So, guys, that's awesome. Hit that like button, everybody. That's going on since we're at basically our highest point that we've ever really been at. Let's talk about some of the things I want to do for 10,000 subscribers. So, first off, at 10,000 subscribers for the first 1,000. So, from 10,000 to 11,000 subscribers, we're going to have we're going to end up having a limited edition shirt. So here's some of the merch. This is an Amazon shirt. So Amazon is where some of the more budget stuff is, and Teespring's where some of our nicer stuff. It is more expensive, but it's also better quality as well. But we're going to do, on the Teespring site, we're going to do a 10K Club shirt for that first 1,000. So I'm super excited about that. So again, get your merch now while you can. But for just 10,000, for that 1,000 subscriber thing, limited edition shirt, as soon as we hit 11,000, it is coming off that site and it'll be done. It's not ever going to come back. Next, we're going to do tuning. We're going to do a tuning giveaway. I'm going to personally purchase a tune from Blessed Performance for a subscriber. We'll do a video. There's not going to need to be any purchasing involved for it. We're just going to have, I do ask that you have a 6.7 or a 6.0 when that video comes up, but the goal is going to be to pick a random winner. I have a TubeBuddy account, and what that'll let me do is pick a random commenter from a video, and that'll be our winner of that. We're going to do it for 3 times. The other 2 guys are going to get 10K Club t-shirts. So there'll be 3 things we're actually going to give away. Again, the top prize, the first winner is going to get a tuning from Blessed Performance, and the other guys are going to get merch packages from me sent to you. So that is the plan. Now, also, guys, we're going to be running some specials coming up here on the merch store. And I saw someone just brought up SCT. We are going to actually give away I have a couple X3s. So we're also, I think what I'm going to do, this is going to be the official thing. First place, for all 3 winners, everyone's going to get a 10K t-shirt. First place is going to get a tuner, an X3 from us, and Blessed Performance tuning. Second person will get just a tune from Blessed Performance. And the third person, you're just going to get the merch. But I think that's still pretty cool all in all. Again, that's 10K. And here comes Josh. God knows.
What? What do you got?
I'm sorry, guys. So anyway, to get back in
to get a copyright infringement.
Triple Josh Light.
Let's see if it picks it up. That's triple hop brood.
So to get back to the comment section here, let's see, where was I? Powerstroke, thanks, man. I hope you're doing well too. I need to make sure my 6 liter is up and running when we do get to have the 2 trucks together. White Beast, I would definitely look at your FICM. I really do think that's probably where your issue's at. At least that's how it sounds. So I would definitely send them in that direction.
he talking about a truck or a woman?
No problem, Zach. If I could hit that like button at that. Powerstroke, thank you, man. Thanks. I'm pretty excited about those giveaways. They're reasonable and they're not going to cost a bunch of money, but I think people will really like them. Plus, Blessed Performance has been awesome to work with, so I'm excited to help with getting his tunes out there to people. So Boosted 6.0, the first thing I want to say is I'm not super familiar with super chip tuners. Other than I know they're definitely not like the go-to tuner for 6 liters. So it's really hard to say. I know on the high end, I'm not sure exactly which turbo, like Power Max Stage 2. Everyone's Stage 2 turbo kind of is slightly different sized. So typically a Stage 2 is somewhere in the neighborhood of about 64 millimeters. The turbo itself is capable of about 600 horsepower, assuming it has the 10-blade turbine side. But you're probably... I'm not sure who did this. Oh, Mongoose, thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Thanks, man. That's awesome. But you're a 6-liter all with on a race tune that's pretty much otherwise factory or a similar setup to yours is probably maxing out, if everything's running really well, about 460, 470, and on the lower end about 430. Again, I do apologize. I'm not super familiar with super chips to know exactly what their tunes. Josh Nick says hi.
Yeah, tell him to get that 10-blade Afghani side.
Super. The 6.7 compared to the 6.0, they're just very different trucks. I do, interior wise, I think Ford made some, they're not crazy upgrades, but they're nice upgrades. I do enjoy them. The interior is definitely nicer. So both trucks are Lariats, but the leather in the 2015 is much nicer. Excuse me. Not any more durable than the older leather, but it is much nicer. The heated and cooled seats are probably one of my favorite things, and the remote start's super nice. It's just a lot of refinement to the truck compared to a 6-liter, but I do still love 6 liters. I think they're awesome trucks. Hi, Izzy. Izzy wants to be in frame. Hi. But again, as far as what I can tell you, as far as like performance in factory form, there's the 6.7 has much more power, but as far as like towing my camper, it didn't get better fuel economy. It did tow it a little on the easier side than my 6-liter, at least than when my 6-liter was completely factory, because I will say my 6-liter with everything that's done to it definitely outperformed the 6.7 in factory form. Now my 6.7 wasn't tuned or anything back then. Now we have tuning on it. I'm hoping I can get some better fuel economy towing, but in factory form, it got very similar fuel economy and overall performance to the 6-liter. So in that regard, I don't think there's like a need to jump up unless you're really pushing like 15, 16,000 pounds. Then I think is where you really get benefit of having a 6.7 compared to a stock 6-liter. I do plan to do a more in-depth video comparing the two trucks in regards to that. Jared H. Jared, you spelled your name wrong though. It's Jared. 190 75s. You're probably in the low 600s. Something in the ballpark of about 620-ish, I'd guess, would be my go-to, provided everything's running right. So VGT chargers kind of max out on 6 liters at about the 650 to 700 range. I want to say, I can say confidently at about 650 is kind of your top of what you're really going to make with the VGT charger. I know KC Turbo was running a lot of nitrous and hitting much higher numbers, but he was also, he had blown up a few turbos, I think. Which he has shots of, like, he's open about that. It's not something he like ever tried to hide or anything, but a VGT charger is just not meant to do that. But he's had some amazing passes down the track in dyno pools, spraying some nitrous on his stage 3 turbo and some amazing track times as well. But 650 on a VGT charger is really kind of like the max. And I'm not a diehard fan of the way a non-VGT sounds on a 6 liter either. I just don't think it sounds as nice as as the VGT chargers do. Got your entire fuel system redone, newly bulletproofed. What else would be a great replacement to make keep up running perfect? I do light toes and hunt a lot. Tevin, really, I'm going to say you can have, if everything's running well, I don't know that you necessarily need to change anything. Getting a fresh set of injectors in if you haven't already can help. You don't necessarily need to upgrade, but getting a fresh set in. I do think going to like a 155 or 175 stock nozzle injector is a nice upgrade. And since you already have a fuel system, you won't have any issues. But for most people, I don't recommend going over a 30% nozzle. If you do go to a 30% nozzle, I think you should go to at least a 190 cc injector to do that. And the big reason is just because that bigger fueled or that bigger bodied injector will help keep the injector overall running clean. And the smaller nozzles will help keep the truck running well without losing idle quality.
Wish my wallet, they didn't have any brown or black, so I had to get a gray one. I don't know how I feel about it yet.
You've had that.
For like 3 weeks.
Yeah. You were talking about it. Yeah. You were very uncertain of the gray wallet.
What do you think?
It looks good. Do you run a fast system on your? So I run a fast system on my 6 liter. I have no complaints about it. All the aftermarket fuel systems are loud. That's kind of the one thing that stinks about them. And it's just because they push so much fuel on the older injection system. So the Huey injection system is just very different than the common rails, obviously. On common rails, I think on my 6.7, I think I'm going to run an Air Dog just to try it. I have no issues with my fast. I really like it. But just to try something different, I think I'm going to try Air Dog on my 6.7. But on the common rails, most of those pumps are actually pretty quiet because they don't need to supply the massive amounts of fuel that the Huey injection system requires. And part of that's because they have the CP4 pump up top that's doing the work, that's doing more of the work to help make it so that they don't need as much fuel from your lift pump. Stonks? 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 Stonks.
I concur.
So did your transmission want to downshift to kind of let you build more boost, or did it kind of try to hold that gear out? And are you running any tuning on it? So you say fully stock, but you just have a fully stock truck with tuning on it? And if you are running tuning, who is it? Well, and trans, but we don't talk about that part. What did I miss? Fueling is my next weak point. I see what you're saying. Yeah, the 4R is not in factory form, leaves a little bit to be desired in the reliability department when you start, especially at the power numbers you're starting to push. But they're great transmissions for racing.
Seen how hilarious this was.
I think it's awesome that they still can't see it. It's if you spill that, I'm going to be upset. Just want the record to... No, not even funny.
Mom, come say hi to everyone. Think there's some fans.
Do you guys see that I have literally no support in my family? None.
Come on, Mom. Come on.
These two haven't even watched a video in forever.
That's not true.
That is not true. I am.
I have to force you.
I just watched them last week.
When I can't shed and I'm in there for an extended period of time.
Josh. I have to
Come say hi.
Stop it.
What are you eating?
Been hearing that the
Sugar
six...
cookies.
Oh, I forgot about the sugar cookies.
Guys are killing me.
I just thought I'd check on you.
Jordan, say hi.
Take him with. Been hearing that the 2007 6.0 rear bucket seats is rare. I just bought one. So, I've only seen a few of the bucket seats in the rear. I think...
Mom said I have to say goodbye.
Good night. So I've seen a few of the rear bucket seats in, I think it's Harley, I think the King Ranch and Harley Davidson trucks were the only trucks that had it. You may have been able to get them in Centennials, but they're super rare too. So not a very common option, but it is out there. I've seen it more than once, but I've only seen it once in person. And it was actually a truck I almost bought. But it was way out of my price point at the time. Oh man, I'm falling way behind on these. I'm sorry, guys. We're getting caught up here. Ethan, good point about checking for boost leaks. Oh, Boosted 6.0, thank you. What do you think? All right, so guys, as you do super chat, I will get to questions in as quick as I can, but when you super chat, I will stop where I'm at and answer the super chat. What do you think the 0 to 6 should be if it's a crew cab long bed dually? Man, that's a hard question. A 0 to 60, I don't even know what my truck does 0 to 60 in. Let me see if I can find one of my time slips. I think I have like my fastest time here on Instagram. We can kind of try to see what mine was doing in 0 to 60 when it was up and running. And maybe we can kind of find something in that ballpark range. Oh, here it is. So we have a 13.6. They don't do 0 to 60. Never mind. I can't really. That's a hard question, brother. What do they do in factory? What's a 0 to 60 on factory? I mean, it shouldn't be terribly long, but 6-7 seconds maybe. I mean, my truck ran the full quarter at 98 miles an hour. So that's a hard one. I'll have to really look into that. Zach J. So my mother bought an 0560 and she's going to tour the country with her trailer and very proud of her. What are your top 5 simple engine mods and would you recommend for longevity 10,000 pound trailer? Her name is Paula. Well, Zach, first, tell Paul I said congratulations and thank you for asking. So what we're going to do, so top 5 modifications. So the first thing I would do for longevity as these trucks are getting older is I would change the both front and rear diffs. The transmission, I would just drain it, refill it up, do the 6.4 filter, and again, that deep dish cast aluminum pan to help there, and drain and fill the transfer case, and that would be number one. Basically, all your fluid change in that mild transmission upgrade would be the first thing. The second thing I would do is I'd definitely get a monitor to kind of check the overall health of the engine, be able to tell about oil temps versus coolant temps, be able to get an exhaust probe in there would be another one. So monitoring, effectively monitoring your 6.0 would be the second step I would recommend to your mom. The other thing is, I think tuning can be very helpful. And we're not talking race tunes, we're talking tow tunes. And I'd reach out to the guys at Blessed Performance because I know you can get 10% off using code 6OBROS, the same as the turbo sponsor. That should be down in the description. So basically an SCT tuner would be next with a custom tow tune, and probably about 40-ish horsepower or so. And that'll kind of help as well. Other than that, unless something comes up with your FICM stuff, if it's an 05, so it probably has the plastic cold side intercooler pipe. So I would replace that intercooler pipe with a metal one. And lastly, I would replace the intercooler with an all metal intercooler. She's going to tour the country towing 10,000 pounds. The 6-liter will do it, but those plastic components are known to break. They've been exposed to a lot of oil over the years now. So I would definitely, those would be my recommendations. Intercooler doesn't have to be a crazy expensive one either. CSF has a 6013, I believe is the model number. There's a link to it in my intercooler video. Or hit me up on Instagram and I can send you links specifically. Now, my Instagram I will put down here because it is a little bit different. There's an H in there. Message me on there. I can get you links to a lot of these stuff for affiliate marketing. And again, that'll also come back and help the channel as well. But those would be my top 5 recommendations. So intercooler, get rid of the plastic intercooler pipe. And when you're doing that, I would also just to include in that same one, make sure she has fresh set of intercooler boots all the way around and fresh clamps to make sure she's not having any issues there. Change all the fluids. Tune it. Again, Bless Performance, reach out to those guys and let them know I sent you. He'll take care of you with a nice little tow tune. And then change all the fluids and get that deep dish transmission pan with the thick cast flange. That way it'll help keep some rigidity in the case. And then I would honestly, that'd be it. If there's no issues with the truck, it's good running truck, I would go from there. And thank you again for the super chat, man. That's super helpful. I really do appreciate that. All right. All right. I'm not as far behind on the comments. I'm getting caught up. John V, I'm super sorry about your gear question. Can you repost it in here, and I will definitely get to it as I get down here. How much do you think 190 75s I would estimate probably make something to the tune of about 620 with a VGT turbo would be my guess. I could be off on that, but my guess would be about 620 horsepower. Robert, yeah, no. In now in the 2015 250s can tow a lot more than the 6-liters can, because or at least any 6-liter I looked up for the 250s. Ford definitely started readjusting some of their stuff, but I believe it was like 11 through 14s. I think they were originally rated for like I think it's 12.5 if I remember in the 250s. Oh. Kirk, do you have a question, bro? I mean, thank you so much for the super chat, but do you have a question I can answer too? I don't want to. I mean, I do really appreciate the super chat, man. Quick skim to the bottom, making sure I'm not missing a question from him. Come up here. Where can I get some of that, Josh? Where was I? Thank you for answering my question. Anytime, man. Dyno Sheet says I have about 520 and 1040. So boosted 6.0, what size injector and turbo are you running again? I think you've already listed it, but just to help make it a little easier on me, because I'd say about a 175 stock nozzle injector will make about 520, in my experience. VGT makes a 6 liter. Oh, Nick, I'm right with you. The VGT makes them sound amazing. Ethan, again, excellent advice. Yeah, they like to crack underneath. I would pull that top intercooler boot off right off the turbo, and I would check all around, because a lot of times what happens, this happened in Josh's truck at one point, is it cracked on the backside. You could get some oil drip out of there, but it definitely wasn't making the boost it was supposed to. I've noticed sometimes I get, just making sure I'm not missing anything up here. I've noticed sometimes I get on it, it jumps up and going. Sometimes it's like a Turret 06. Kirk, so the best way to check that would be to it could just be where you're at in your transmission shifting. If it's kind of holding a gear a little bit, sometimes it'll want to like lug down a little bit. So that's one thing to consider. The other thing, the turbo could be sticking. To check that, you want to bring up your VGT percent or your VGT duty cycle and see where it's commanding. If you're driving and it's commanding an extreme like 80, 85, it's trying to close those vanes to build boost. Or if it's commanding down at 15, it's trying to open them up. You really shouldn't see either of those two when you're actually driving. Stopped at a light, it's fine. But when you're driving, you shouldn't be seeing that. So typically you don't have a ton of idle quality issues with a 30% nozzle, provided you have a good tuner on there. But when you start getting into 75 and 100% nozzles, you do lose some idle quality because it's harder to control the fueling as well, especially at idle when you get to those bigger sizes. It doesn't want to atomize the fuel as effectively either. That's why I always recommend keeping a big body and a smaller nozzle. Plus, that'll help it run cleaner, and you'll it's just a more efficient running vehicle then. Mongoose, I want to at some point put a turbo blanket on and try it. Right now, I don't even have a heat shield on my 6 liter, that metal piece I never put on when I switched turbos over. But at some point I'd like to, because yeah, definitely it'll help keep that heat in, and it'll help spool the turbo faster as well. It's like we want to get rid of heat when we can, but it's also what moves the exhaust gases faster, spooling our turbo more efficiently, and again, keeping a more efficient design. Also why I have my Y pipes heat wrapped. What do you think of boosted 6.0? I think boost fullers on 6 liters are stupid. That's a 7.3 thing, and I honestly think with some of the newer tuning that's happened in 7.3 world, I don't think they're even popular there. But on a 6 liter, you don't need a boost fuller. Save your money. Here's where a post always starts good. Say I have all the money in the world, right? So Jake, we're answering this. So if I was to win the lottery and run a Kill Devil Diesel Stage 2 long block, 205/30s, ODOG, KC Stage 3, how much power would it be averaging? 205/30s are going to max out around 600. Don't get me wrong. You'd have a freaking sweet setup, and it would be a lot of fun. But yeah, in about the 600 ballpark is where you would max out there. No tunes, fully stock. Ethan Smith Rhino, I'll definitely check that out. Ethan, you've been awesome in this live stream getting stuff done, brother. Sorry, I'm getting messages from. I'm pretty active on a lot of the pages, so a lot of times I'm getting messages and comments and stuff on there, but we'll be answering them later. All right, so Jordan's in here. My boss is in here. Well, at least she was at some point. All we need now is your sister to chime. Oh, it's Amia. You have the headache. The headache here. We do not need her. She's at her house, so I don't have to worry about that. But she might be in the comment section still. It's not terribly uncommon for Jordan to hang out in the comment section and chime in and participate. Just got a 6.0 a couple months ago. It feels slow. What performance parts really help with making it faster? So, Edwin, I would start with first, before you go in any kind of modification, I would start really looking at making sure everything's running right. So I would check your intercooler boots. I would check your Y pipe and exhaust manifolds. Make sure you don't have an exhaust leak or a boost leak first and foremost. The other thing I would do is I'd verify fuel pressure. You want to make sure you're making at least 45 psi and more preferably like low 50s, like 50 to 55 under load. So when you're actually in the throttle. The other thing you want to check is your ICP voltage. You want to make sure you're maintaining that. So your IPC voltage, you can look up the conversion chart online. It's super easy to find. But basically, you want to make sure that your high pressure oil pump can keep up with the demand of your fueling system. Because if it can't, any of those can, anything in that chain can cause it. Also, your FICM, make sure you're making 48 volts at all times. If it goes under 47 volts, your FICM's on the way out. After you've done all them, I'd say the easiest way to make more power and have a more fun truck. Now, keep in mind, every time you add timing, you also add the risk of blowing head gaskets faster, unless you have a quality stud job already done. To which I'd say check out Blessed Performance. He is a sponsor of the 6.0 Bros now. And if you use the code, I have a link to him down in the description along with the code 6.0 Bros. I just dropped that in the comments. Get 10% off tuning. But before you mess with those things, check everything else and make sure everything's running right before you just upgrade to tuning. Because if you change your tuning and one of those things isn't running right, you're just going to make that system worse. Running low fuel pressure will also destroy your injectors as well. So verifying that first is also super important. Jake, excellent advice. Being careful who you go with. It being a stock truck, I personally don't recommend more than a tow tune. Definitely not more than a street tune. Just for the sake of trying to keep your head bolts there, you can definitely exacerbate a starting issue. Just be aware if you don't have studs that is a potential issue. So I'd verify everything first before even going that route. But I will say a well-done tow tune, they are fun to drive on these trucks. But just keep in mind, you are increasing your risk of having to do a head gasket job on your truck. And that is an expensive day. Oh, cool. There's a Centennial with bucket seats. TSD and Blessed Performance make some pretty good head bolt tunes. Yep. Excellent recommendations. Warren Diesel has good stuff. Gearhead, I hear good things about. Those are kind of all my go-tos. Innovative Diesel, I really only like to run at the track, personally speaking. Blue Spring. One thing to consider, though, about that time question, he was also talking about a crew cab long bed dually. Now, you do have a better gear to kind of get to from 0 to 60, but it's also probably like a 9,000-pound truck. I think the stock 6-liter, the Governor is set at, holy crap, I'm almost caught up in the comment section. I think Ford typically governs their truck at like 105, 103. I don't know because I've had mine turned off for so long. Neither of my trucks have speed limits other than what they can do. So Jake, as far as so here's the thing with building a bottom end on 6 liter is it's expensive. It's very, very, very expensive to do. So what I would say, while I think it's worth it when you're really starting to push into that when you're starting to push into that 600 realm, in my mind, I think it's worth it with the Assassin connecting rods. It's become much more affordable. You're still talking $1,800, but that's like $1,500 cheaper than any other connecting rod. And from what I understand, those connecting rods should take every bit of 1,000 to 1,200 horsepower worth of abuse. So you're definitely good there, and I have to sneeze. It went away. It'll come back shortly, though, I'm sure. So it's just very expensive to build a bottom end. You really are adding, in my opinion, I think it's also important to get fly cut delipped pistons. I would also recommend getting them coated. I would say yes, because I don't think there's any brand new Ford factory rods anymore. I think they're all reman at this point. Excuse me. So I would say making sure you have a good quality connecting rod. And again, the piston upgrades we discussed, I think, are also very, very important. But again, money and budget. Now, Jake, I will say this. The other option would be to, if you're okay with it, just understanding there's a chance you may have to do that in the future. I don't think it's necessarily a terrible idea to wait. And again, it's all in how you drive it. If you're going to run compound turbos and stuff like that, it's going to be harder on it versus running. You could get away with like Turbo Time's 66 millimeter turbo would probably take full advantage of those injectors. So I do think, plus it would give you, 66 millimeter turbo. That's what I run in my truck. Now I run their older version. Now they call it like their GXR 7 and GXR 11, depending if you want the single plane wheel versus dual plane. So there's a lot that goes into that. I would say it wouldn't be terrible to, Jake, are you looking at the Stage 3 KC turbo, or are you looking at the 68 millimeter that Turbo Time sells? Both are excellent chargers, for the record. Jake, if you're looking at KC, one thing to consider, check out Powerstroke's channel, because he has an affiliate code, I think, for a discount. That's why I was asking, because obviously if you were going Turbo Time, use my discount code. But I believe he has we talked about this, and he sent me a message because I had asked him, because I get a lot of KC questions. And while obviously I'd love for you guys to support my turbo sponsor, at the same time, not everybody sometimes you just like what you like, and that's cool. I have no issue with that. If I can get you guys more value, I want to. Plus, it'll go support a really cool channel, because Powerstroke is awesome. So check him out for a discount. I believe he has a discount code for KC Turbo. I could be wrong, but I think he does. He at least has an affiliate link, which if you're going to buy from him anyway, I'd recommend going through that. But yeah, no, that Stage 3 will definitely take care of those injectors. So I would probably do the top end, and just keep in mind that there's a chance you could need to deal with that bottom end in the future. You are in the safe zone. So if you weren't going to go through the whole bottom end anyway, I think you're safe, in my opinion. Boosted 6.0, I'm pretty certain they govern at 105. I can't say never. I've definitely gone faster than 105. but definitely not one of my smarter decisions to make. I don't think it's good on any vehicle to go that fast. You're spending a fair amount of RPM at that point for a diesel, especially if you're going to hold it there. It's one thing to get up to that speed and then, you know, finish a quarter mile pass and come out of it. It's a little bit different to keep pushing through and holding that fast. Plus, that's super dangerous to do on the highway. Kirk, thanks, man. I definitely appreciate the kind words, and I'll definitely be keeping up all the hard work on the channel. Like I said, you know, earlier in this live stream, I kind of said I took a break for October. I kind of needed a break. We had really been putting out a lot of videos. I do work more than full time. So it was kind of, I just needed to kind of recharge the batteries, especially because the next 2 months, I really plan to put a lot into the channel. We're really pushing to hit 10,000 subscribers. Get those giveaways going. But thank you. I really appreciate everything you guys do for me. You know, the super chats and buying the merch and all that stuff means the world to me. Buying from my affiliate links and stuff. You guys have no idea how much that helps continue to make content for the channel. I put everything I make from any revenue stream back into the channel. It doesn't sit in my personal bank account. It goes right back into trying to make content for you guys. So thank you for what you guys do as well. John, how you doing, brother? Gearing question. What rear end do I likely got if I doing all right, looks like somebody already started. What do you have an F250 or a 350? If you have an F250, it's like a 99% chance you have 373s. It came in almost every 250. I don't even think, I honestly am not sure you could get a different gear set unless somebody else put them in those. I think 350s, you might be able to get 410s. And I think in dualies were 430s. Would just pistons and rods be good, or do a cam with it? Jake, if I'll say this, if you're going to be all the way in there at that point, cams are like $700 ish. I would recommend a cam. First, I can guarantee you're going to love it because they are so much fun and they add so much drivability to the truck because they help really increase airflow. Excuse me. So I would say if you're already that far in, I would definitely go with a cam. Like a stage 2, I don't think you would need to go. I mean, especially if you're going to do pistons, rods, because your crank needs to come out. Pulling the cam isn't that much more. What I will say here, unless you're doing the work yourself, it is most likely cheaper to have Kill Devil Diesel build you a short block. Keep that in mind. Because it is expensive, but then you get a warranty with all those parts. So I mean, that's kind of one thing to consider. I like Kill Devil Diesel. There's Choate Engineering, also has a good reputation. So does Asheville Engines, but I do think Kill Devil Diesel, in my opinion, is making the best product at the moment. Yeah, John, in the 250s, you most likely have a 373. I have a 250 with 410s, but it was a gasser. Ethan, the gassers definitely had different gear ratios based on torque. Like for the 6.7 trucks, you can only get a 373 if you have a gasser. You can't get a 373 in a diesel option now. So the gas engines do have different gear ratios based on where they're most efficient at and where they're making their power. Yeah, I think in the dualies you could get 410s or 430s. I don't think you were stuck to one. So would it be cheaper to buy the short block and put the heads on stuff or buy the long block? Jake, that really depends if you're able to do it yourself. Most likely, it is probably cheaper to have it all done at Kill Devil Diesel. But I would talk, like, again, if you're not doing it yourself, I would look at I would ask your mechanic, hey, I would just point out and ask him, hey, I'm thinking about having a short block ordered. I can tell you this, it's most likely cheaper to have Kill Devil Diesel build that short block. Again, having that peace of mind of warranty is huge. When you're that far in, you're talking a lot of money now. You know, we're not talking just a normal stud job, which is still really expensive, but you're talking, you know, you're starting to talk numbers in the $8, $9, $10,000 range, all said and done. To not have a warranty on some of that stuff is a hard pill to swallow, especially if you're talking like doing a built lower end like you are. You're talking all said and done. You know, I wouldn't be shocked if you were 14 grand in. So please keep that in mind while you do this. But you know, if you're capable of putting the heads on yourself and the connecting rods and all that stuff, or not connecting rods, push rods, rockers, all those things, then it's probably cheaper for you to get the short block and do that. But price it out, man. It could be hard. Like I said, it just depends on what you're doing. A shop is probably going to be cheaper to have Kill Devil Diesel build the whole thing. Pull the engine, rebuild it with a few blow. Wesley, man. So to go through to rebuild an engine at $5 grand, I have a lot of questions because that is cheap. That is very, very cheap. So I have some questions about what parts he's using. And I'm not saying everyone's out to do something dumb and take advantage of somebody, but $5 grand's a lot of money for just about anybody. But yeah, that sounds too good to be true. And if it's one thing I've learned about that, typically when something's too good to be true, it is. So I'm not saying he's not using good parts, but I have a feeling he probably isn't. He'd have to be doing a ton of volume. Excuse me, gotta get comfortable here. He'd have to be doing a ton of volume to make up for that. The 6.7 comes with, so mine has 355s in it, and I think it's a 331, like you said. Chris, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? Good to have you in here. A-pillar gauges, I think, are cool. You know, sometimes we talk about stuff I would do if this channel became wildly successful and it gave me the ability to afford to just build trucks all the time. I think A-pillar gauges would be really cool to do on like an OBS 7.3. Just because I think like that time frame and everything, like I'd love to do a long regular cab long bed 7.3 with A-pillar gauges and stuff. That being said, I mean, the electronic stuff is just super effective, and good quality gauges are expensive. I mean, really, you'll get into a lot of money as opposed just being able to monitor basic stuff, as opposed to getting a quality like a CTS 3. I don't have a CTS 3. I have a CTS 2, but at some point I will be getting a CTS 3 for one of the trucks. I'm not sure which truck's going to get it, but one of them will get a CTS 3. How much does, let's see what Kill Devil Diesel, let's see what their long blocks go for. We'll quick bring up their long block, get you a price quote on that. Wesley, the problem with that is, I mean, at $5 grand, I mean, I really don't know that you can, for what he's saying, I mean, I don't even know that you can buy all the stuff to go over a 6 liter at $5 grand, to be honest, depending on what he's doing. So, I mean, like, when he says rebuild, what's he talking about? Is he talking about, like, a head stub job? Or is he talking new cam bearings, new crank bearings, or main bearings? Jake, I've honestly thought about doing that. Jeremy, how you doing, brother? Thanks for stopping in. Hit that you already subscribed. Hit the like button before you leave, man. Great to have you in here. Love when you guys stop in, even if you're busy. It really means a lot to me when you guys can just pop. Like, if you're busy in your lives, everyone's got their own stuff going on. I love when you guys pop in and just say hi too. I love when you guys are all able to hang out for the live stream, but it does mean a lot to me when you guys pop in just to check in and let me know you're keeping an eye on stuff. Let's see. Where's his engines here? We got engine products. Sorry guys, I know I'm not following if there's any questions being asked right now. I will get caught up. I'm just looking to answer this one. I just have to find the darn engine. And I don't see any. I do not see any. Well, that's because I'm in engine components. Complete engine packages. Here we go. All right, so the stage 1 short block without all the goodies is $4,050. Oh, they do ready to run engines. They're expensive, but I'm assuming they have literally everything. So there's stage 1 long block that comes studded with their O-ring heads, 80 psi valve springs, completely blueprinted, new Moly rod, main, and cam bearings, stage 1 camshaft from Kill Devil Diesel, 3-year limited mile warranty. Is a little less than $9,000. Price starting. So 9,400 is their stage 2, but they're I lied. So it says it's like 10 grand for a stage 1. Yeah. So 10 grand for a stage 1. $9,975. Their stage 2 goes to $11,400, and their stage 3 is not listed. And that was all without connecting rods. But now the 1750 for the Assassin connecting rods. $600 is a little expensive, and I'm impatient. How much power can I? So, Jake, honestly, I think for a lot of people being in the 550 range, like, so I think honestly a 2.0. I don't think you like 600 isn't terribly expensive. It's just you start getting into gray area. So I wouldn't necessarily change a whole lot. I would just be cautious on running an all-out race tune all the time. So I would keep your original build in that sense. 20530s. I think that's what I can't remember. I think you said 20530s and not 20575s. Either way, a 20530 is going to be really, really good and make about 600. And you should be okay. I think that's a good starting place. I would probably have someone pull some timing out and probably shoot more to be in the 550 to 560 range, personally. It's quick too. Have a good one, brother. Greetings from communist California. What's it like over in the communist country? I imagine there's lots of Democratic, pro-Democratic signs out there. I'm sorry to hear that. You guys had a big win on big win on magazine capacity though this year, so congratulations there. A rattling sound from somewhere. Chris, I'm gonna need more information than that, because that sounds kind of hard. I mean, that could be something loose anywhere on the truck. Towing, not telling. I don't know what towing, not telling means. After doing mine by myself, I think I just hire it next time. Ooh, Wesley, $7,000 to replace that. I mean, if it's a good running engine, you're probably talking. I mean, $3,000 of that is probably labor in pulling the engine and putting the new one in. Robert, I agree with you there 100%. Having a 6-liter mechanic is very different from having a good mechanic. Having a good 6-liter mechanic is a lot harder to have. If it's any constant, my guy has a lot of 6. Wesley, he could be good. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying his price, that's very, very expensive. Like if it was just head studs and just an up, basically the upper end, I'd say it sounds like a decent price, provided he's O-ringing the heads and stuff, and using standard ARP studs and fresh gaskets. But if he's saying rebuild, then I have other questions. So you kind of want to. So boosted 6.0, I'm just saying hood stacks for a lot of areas are illegal. So keep that in mind if you want to deal with cops all the time. Now, I have had a guy that he would literally just pay the fine and keep driving his truck when it was hood stacked. I think it'd be cool to hood stack it, but be able to very easily turn it into like a regular exhaust, like have the exhaust come out the passenger side completely. If you had like a compound setup, so you could hood stack it when you wanted and then turn it to a regular exhaust when you didn't. You could also do, you could have it come in front of the tire. I don't personally really like that look. You'd have to kind of fab up a bracket of some sort to help with the hangers. Or you could do an axle dump would be another thing. Currently, the 6.7's exhaust is like literally halfway under the truck because I'm waiting for some parts. Let's see here. Oh, Josh is in there. He's the one that commented about conservatives in Russia. Yeah, I don't know much about Bill. I know he talks about his dealer-proof package. My understanding is he's very restrictive on tuning and who he lets use, which I get. When you're going to offer a lifetime warranty on something like that, you want to make sure people aren't doing crazy stuff down the road. But do bear that in mind, depending on what you want to use your truck for, or if you want to kind of try a bunch of different tuners, that will void your warranty, I believe, from Bill over at Powerstroke. Help.com, because I forgot the last part of his name. 18K is an insane price. At 18K is insane in the sense of I get you're offering a lifetime warranty and everything, but you're talking like a fully built every upgrade option possible from Kill Devil Diesel at that price point. That's what gets me about him. And if I had to guess, most people are never going to run a Kill Devil Diesel engine hard enough to kill it. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying you'd have to really, really run that truck hard. Jake, again, unless you're doing it yourself at that point, I don't think I'd cam it. Do I love a stage 2 cam and do I think they're beneficial at 550? 100%. Do I think it's worth the money put in? Probably not. It's pretty expensive to start putting cams in. You can do the job half right and get one in, but you still have to pull the rear cover. It's a fiasco, man. It gets pretty expensive to put a cam in properly. Toe not telling you, I was just correcting my mistake. Oh, sorry, man. Donovan, did I miss your question or did I answer it? Toe not telling you, I was just correcting my mistake. I was asking about the turbo, though. Donovan, can you let me know? Can you let me know if I re-ask your question if I haven't already answered it, and I will address that. Sorry about that. Top end I'm planning to do if money comes in kilos, ported heads. So Jake, for that, I think the cylinder head choice and the head stud choice you have, spot on, perfect. I do think the power you're talking, you should do the 625 head studs, and you'll definitely benefit from the ported cylinder heads on that. I would also consider adding, if you haven't already, an ODOG manifold and BD exhaust manifolds. But I have Ford gaskets in mind. I would ask Jared at Kill Devil what he's currently using and what he's seeing having luck with, because he has a lot of engines out there. He does a lot of engine builds. So I would kind of defer to him. I'm running OEM gaskets. I know when I talked to Jared previously at Kill Devil, he had talked about Felpro. I don't know if they're still making a good product or how that all is working out. So I do kind of want to defer to him. And destroyed cylinder 3. Wesley, what do you mean it destroyed cylinder 3? Like the walls of cylinder 3 or like the piston? Where are we at with the damage? I've got an 03 Super Cab short bed, 300,000 miles, and me and my brother have been scratching our heads why it has so much more power than the other 6.0 trucks. I guess that depends. It could be tuned or something. Your other trucks, or it could be just running well, and your other trucks might be having issues. Sensors can really throw these things for a big issue and make you think you have big issues when you don't. Other than lift and 37s, everything I've got bone stock. My brother's has almost identical truck, but bulletproofed and tuned. And it's no way near as rowdy. Is it possible an upgrade makes such a difference when I scan my ICP? At Revlin, we're only at 60%. I want to say he probably has something wrong with his truck, is the likely thing there. So he might be tuned, but if your high pressure oil pump's dying or you got a leak or your IPR is starting to stick, you can have a lot of issues there. But my guess would be his truck has the issues, not yours. Especially when your truck's on 37s, if his isn't, and your truck's destroying his, then yeah, no, I'm going to say there's an issue with his. Yeah, I agree with what Robert's saying about your issue, man. If it destroyed a piston or messed up a cylinder wall, I would go through and have new bearings done throughout, which again thinks you kind of puts you in the boat of looking at just a short block. I'd ask that same guy if you just had a stage 1 short block from Kill Devil sent to him, how much it would be to put the top end together. Yeah, I mean, dude, I gotta say, if he's claiming he's having machine work done on the block, there's no way he's doing all that at $5,000. It's just there's no way. And if he really is, I gotta tell you, and he's not skimping on parts, there's not going to be any warranty for it because he'd completely lose everything on it. So it runs fine, pulls fine, just smoky at idle and lots of blow by. So Wesley, is there pressure behind the blow by? Meaning if you kind of push down on, like if you take your oil fill cap off, set it on there upside down, does it push the cap off or just vibrate it off from the engine? If it, like pushes it off, that's one thing. If it just kind of vibrates off, then you're fine. But if you need to have some pressure behind blow by for it to be an issue. The smoke could just be I'd want to run your codes, find out if you have any code issues. Could be an injector. It could be a bad turbo pushing oil out. I'd hate to see you spend $5,000 when you just needed to buy a turbo, or spend $5,000 and you just needed to get Josh. So just be very cautious as to what you're doing. I would probably kind of look into it a little more. It sounds like, because I'm not saying he didn't tell you the truth, but just certain things don't sound like they're actually adding up. Jake, have a good one, brother. Thanks for everything. I appreciate it. Well, yeah, an 03 trucks had more aggressive cam profile. The high pressure oil pump, while being less reliable, flowed more, was able to maintain ICP better. So guys, if you haven't already, please hit that like button. We're still going. We're not ending this yet. You guys know I'm always after the likes on these. It does help these videos do better, which in turn helps the channel, which lets me provide more content for you guys. He quoted me $1,700 to pull the engine and replace it with a used one, so I'm thinking $2,500 for him to pull it, do the head work and labor. That might be a better option. Nice price. Yeah, the other thing with the Kill Devil Diesel short block is you don't have a core charge on a short block. So if he does a lot of 6-liter work, he might be willing to buy your short block, or buy your short block that's in your truck now for a couple bucks. Might actually help kind of some, because you'd probably be, if I had to guess, you'd probably be a little over your $6,000 budget. But then you have Kill Devil Diesel short block that you don't have to worry about warranty on, because it's Kill Devil Diesel. They'll take care of it. There's a good option. I would feel better about that. Although before you spend that money, go investigate your truck more, because if it's running, something doesn't seem to add up. And I want to say you could have an injector that's stuck open if it's smoking a lot, or you could have bad oil seals in your turbo. So I'd hate for you to spend all this money only for you to still need to buy a turbo or to replace all your injectors. Which, if it's an injector issue, you need to also verify fuel pressure. Under load, that is. So while you're doing a full throttle pull, make sure your fuel pressure can maintain at least 45 psi, and preferably more like 50 to 55. So, let's see here. Guys, if you haven't, go check out the merch store. Like I said, when we hit 10,000 subscribers, we are going to do a limited edition shirt for 10K. I don't know what I'll put on there, 10K club or hashtag 10K. I don't know. But we'll put something related to 10,000 subscribers. It'll be a limited time thing. We are going to look at doing some sales soon on our merch on Teesprings as well for the holiday season coming up. So look forward to those. Like I said, we're going to do a 3-person giveaway at the holiday season. So that's coming up as well, which will have tuning from Blessed Performance will be one of the giveaways I'm going to purchase for you. So let's see here. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head right now. Stutters like has low compression on one cylinder for sure. The reputable shop says it's low in cylinder 3 and needs to be rebuilt or replaced. Man, it's just have it. So Wesley, here's a way to verify low compression without having the tools, without tearing the truck apart. We have a video of talking about telling the difference between a bad and I think it's like 6.0 Powerstroke bad injector test is the video. It's actually our most viewed video to date. Although the best 6.0 Powerstroke video is gaining and best year 6.7 video is also gaining on it. But if there's over by your passenger side battery, your starter cable comes out, you can unplug it and you can basically check for a nice smooth crank. It'd be very even and consistent, but if you do that and you kind of have a dead spot or a low spot, that's going to tell you that you have low compression and verify that. That's the easiest way to verify low compression, to which I see you talking about sending a video. Instagram, I don't know if you were in here when I put our Instagram down here earlier. I'll do it again. But yeah, let us know. Send me a video there trying to do that test I just talked about. Okay, so you already know what I'm talking about. Do that, make a video, and send it to me, and I'll let you know what I think, man. Yeah, Instagram is the easiest way to get a hold of me. If you need to send me videos or pictures, I typically prefer most of you guys comment on the videos in any of my videos to answer back. But if you have to send videos or pictures to ask me questions, Instagram is the next best place to do. I try to check it regularly. I have missed a few people lately. I don't know. Instagram kind of changed how they do stuff. And it hasn't been working as nicely. Or at least I'm not getting notifications as well. Right now I don't have any on there, but that's that. Well, so this is one thing I found out is there's a 6.0 bros on Instagram that spells it like this. And we started our Instagram later after the actual channel started. And what had happened is they already had the name. They're inactive. I've actually tried reaching out to them because I want that name. The other thing I've thought about doing is spelling out the name 6.0 Bros instead. So we'll see what I do. But yeah, no, it drives me nuts that they have our name. So, but why I said all that is because some people go and follow them accidentally. Is there anything you can think of that'll make it roll more coal? Keep in mind, an uneven crank can also be from hydrolocking on a cylinder from a leaky injector, e.g. our cooler leaking coolant. That's very true, and I would say it's probably more common. They haven't posted since 2017. That in 2017 was the first year of this channel when we started this. To which, when we first started gaining some very mild popularity in the 6-liter community, I remember somebody Also, there was a noise. I remember somebody tried like selling shirts with like 6 Bros on it that wasn't affiliated with us, and Josh talked to him, and he immediately took that crap down. But it was a little frustrating. Like, here we were having our, I think like we may have had like may have been like right after our first year when we first hit 1,000 subscribers. It took us 11 months to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I think it was right after then. Edgar, what's up, man? How you doing? Welcome to the live stream. Catching the tail end of it, but that's awesome. Glad to have you in here, man. Let me see if I can pull up the video. Accept primary. Let's see. See if we can get this video. How do you feel about the 240? The only thing I can say about, 1 second. We're watching the video here. Apparently, I don't have great internet reception down here. You definitely have some decent blow-by, brother. Well, it's not pushing it right off. Yeah. Yeah, you probably need a rebuild, man. Yeah, you probably definitely need a rebuild there. Mr. Chris, what year truck do you have? Because depending on year, kind of depends on what I recommend. The 240 lease alternator upgrade, I think, is a good upgrade. Yeah, I can show the video. The only thing I'd recommend going with a 240 amp one is I would definitely make sure to upgrade your power and ground wires, because basically a 185, 190 is all the bigger you want to go with factory wiring. So I definitely upgrade your additional power wire connecting the two batteries, positives. I'd reground each battery to the frame. I'd redo your frame to engine ground and frame to body ground. Would also be redone. It wouldn't be a terrible idea to add an additional ground on each battery terminal as well. An extra thick one down to the frame, just to make sure everything is well. Also, you'll need to upgrade your power wire from your alternator to your battery as well, to safely run that. Okay, and video, let's see here. Was this one it? Okay. So if you saw, it wasn't necessarily pushing the cap like flying it off, but it was definitely enough to move the cap up. So yeah, if I had to guess, when you do like the check your crank, I would assume you probably have a dead spot. So it'd probably crank pretty evenly, then dip down, and then come back, and then dip down. Boosted 6.0, no problem, man. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate all your support and hanging out with us. Nice guy. So we won't go into. So I am going to actually go shoot a video with the 6-liter to kind of explain everything. But basically, the big thing, we lost compression. I think it's cylinder number 8. It's been a scope's been put down. We didn't see any easily identifiable damage. It doesn't mean that a piston or a ring isn't damaged. And also, it didn't look like we had any damage on the cylinder walls. But again, it's not the greatest image in the world, but excuse me. But we were able to see some stuff. So the other thing, basically kind of talking about what could be wrong with it. It could be in the cylinder head itself, keeping an exhaust valve open, and that's what's making it smoke and run so rough. The other thing it could be a again, the piston could have cracked or the rings could have broken. So yes, it did have stock pistons in, which if it's a piston issue, I'm going to be so mad because I thought for a long time about putting a different set of pistons in the truck. Like it really would have only been like another hour worth of work. It could be a bent valve as well. But so my hope is that it's in the cylinder head. I'll probably have him pull both cylinder heads off, go have them both gone over, and probably get them ported at the same time. And then from there, get them thrown back on, run the truck. The goal is, honestly, at some point, is to purchase an engine from Kill Devil Diesel to put up with what we want to do with the truck. Because I do want to make... the goal is probably for the truck to end up, when I'm done building the white truck, the goal is probably for about 7 to 800 horsepower, I would guess. So at some point, I am going to need an engine. But I'm trying to hold off so I can save up for it. And I don't want to cut corners when I do that. I want to be able to get what is going to make the truck run good and reliably. So, just like the transmission is built to handle about 1,000 horsepower, I want to build an engine that can handle 1,000 horsepower and throw 20% less at it. But so I don't think I've made any videos on monitoring a 6.0. The biggest things to check, part of it depends what you're doing. So for daily monitoring, I would have engine oil temp, engine coolant temp, engine transmission temp up. I'd have FICM voltage up, exhaust back pressure, boost, VGT duty cycle, ICP, and IPR up. Those would be my daily things I monitor. Now, we can go into more stuff about, and again, this is a video I definitely need to make, would be no start conditions on 6 liters and what they most commonly are, because while you're going to monitor most of what I just talked about, there are some different things to look at that point, but those are the things I would recommend monitoring regularly. Yeah, damn, that's a lot. That's funny. So let's see here. Guys, if you haven't, hit that like button. We're at over 50 likes. This was a very successful live stream so far. I've been having fun. The other thing, when we hit 10,000 subscribers, we're going to do our longest live stream ever. We're going to do a 4-hour live stream. Some of you guys are thinking, holy crap, I couldn't imagine listening to him for 4 hours. But some of you guys do really like when we do those really long ones. I'll probably be announcing giveaway stuff in those live streams as well. In that live stream there, it'll like I said, no purchase will be necessary for any kind of giveaway we do with that, but that is going to be where that happens. So so very excited about that. Like I said, we're going to be giving away I'm going to purchase tunes from Blessed Performance for somebody. We'll probably give away one of my tuners, if not 2 of them. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate your support, Brad. But yeah, probably give away 1 or 2 of my X3 tuners, at least 1 tune package from Blessed Performance, and all 3 of the giveaway winners will be getting the limited edition shirt that we're going to put out there. So very excited for that, along again with a 4-hour live stream. So I'm going to need to definitely have some notes and some talking points, because I don't know if we can keep a live stream going strong for 4 hours. That is a lot. We're going to definitely need to have segments of it. So a lot of preparation is going into that. The goal is to hit it before the end of September, or end of December. I want 10,000 subscribers this year, not next. Long, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Appreciate all of your guys' support and what you guys help. You guys make this channel happen. If I didn't have you guys watching and participating, doing the super chats and watching videos, buying affiliate links, buying my merch, buying for my sponsors, you guys don't realize how, if I didn't have you guys, I have no channel. So thank you guys for all you do. Your 6.0 is a hodgepodge. Fun word to say. I haven't seen that in a while. Of stock used parts from my bro's chunk pile. Bought it with a chipped valve from injector tip. That's an annoying thing that does occasionally happen. So I just pulled head, swapped valve out, reused gaskets and bolts, no issues. Steve, you like to live on the edge. It's a lot of work to reuse gaskets and head bolts. 6.0 Powerstroke, I don't believe you can. I want to say it's Gearhead. I think it's Gearhead does tuning for the CTS 2 Pro. I believe they're the only company that does custom tunes for that. Honestly, SCT is the way to go. Unfortunately, yeah, I did a whole video talking about tuners and why SCT is superior to a lot of stuff, and that's for the 6-liter because obviously with other tuning out there, there's issues, but the Edge Juice with Attitude, I mean, for its time, I think it was probably a good sloppy mech style. For its time, coming from the 7.3s that you lost that transmission tuning part, it is different. So my personal preference for tuner and monitor, I personally don't think the Livewire's worth the money. There is I think it's the GTX, and I've seen that seems to be a little nicer. Yeah, Nick, I'm with you, man. That's Steven, I really hope it does, man, but that is risky, all that work you put into to reuse those particular parts. So I would be looking at maybe finding a used X3 for cheap, or just getting an X4. Then after 50,000, you have 50,000 miles on a reused gasket and head bolts. That is one of the most amazing things I think I've ever heard in relation to 6-liters. You must do good work, man. So an X3 or X4 would be your best bet. The X4s are definitely nicer than the X3s, and they're a little more user friendly. Edgar, no. As long as someone unmarried them, you're good to go. So X3, X4 would be your go-to. You can find some used. Make sure they're unmarried. And then the CTS line is hands down the best way to monitor. So I think your Edge already has... I don't know what the Edge Juice with Attitude is off the top of my head, if that's one of the ones that monitor or not. Edge Juice with Attitude. Oh, yeah, so you already have the monitoring aspect. Get yourself an SCT, and you'll be very happy you did. Not a huge fan of lope tunes, but I know some guys really, really like them, and I'm not sure why, but some guys think they're super cool. So Robert, I'm going to get you a link to, I think, probably one of the most cost-effective ways to monitor a 6-liter would be, I'm not a big scan gauge fan. I personally like using Torque Pro or ForeScan. But I've also used glow shift gauges, and glow shift has a really cool 3-in-1 gauge that would allow you to monitor fuel pressure, exhaust temp, and boost is the one I like. Boost gauge. That's temp where, sorry, it takes a minute to find it because it's a goofy one. They have a few different ones. So 60 PSI boost gauge with digital 220 degree pyro, exhaust temp, and additional 150 pressure. So this is what I would recommend running. You can run a single pod and monitor 3 things that are important to monitor. So when you start tuning 6-liters, the boost doesn't read accurately, so you need a gauge to do that. So this would be my recommendation. Let me get you an affiliate link here. So this would be my go-to recommendation. In that way. That way it's cheap. You're talking, you might have to buy some fittings to for like the fuel pressure and stuff, but all in all, that is going to be your most cost-effective way to monitor the other things that the scan gauge cannot. And like I said, I've had good luck with Glow Shift. I know they're a cheaper brand, but I definitely have had good luck with them. 6.0 Powerstroke, yes. So your SCT is only plugged in when you're uploading the tune. You just want to make sure. I would actually see if maybe you can't get your edge juice if like the tuning disabled on it, so no, you don't have to worry about accidentally turning it up or down. I'm not sure how if Edge can do that, but that would definitely be a recommendation, is to have that turned off. But yeah, no, you can plug your juice back in and use all the monitoring features because your SCT is only plugged in when you're tuning. 0560, what's the first thing I do to make it more reliable? That's been a popular question tonight. I just want to get one more link for people for like an SCT in here. So SCT does have several different models. That's the word I'm looking for. Here's the X4. This would be my recommendation. They have a few other ones that can do monitoring, but in my opinion, SCT doesn't do monitoring very well. They do tuning very well. So Edge, I firmly believe, has the best monitoring capabilities at this time. Chow, I appreciate that, telling people to watch my videos, because that is going to be very helpful, because we do have videos on what are the best things to do for making it reliable. So the first things I would look at, you want to make sure your batteries are good, your charging system's good, and your FICM is producing sufficient voltage. It should never dip below 47, and it should typically be at 48. Or you can go a little higher. Sometimes you'll see 49 or 48.5, but you want to be around 48 within 1 point, or within 1 volt of that. The next thing, dude, would be to check the health of your oil cooler. You want to do that, get it up to operating temp, hop on the flattest stretch of highway you can and cruise at 65 miles an hour, and make sure that the coolant doesn't get, or make sure oil is never 15 degrees higher than your coolant. And honestly, when you start to regularly see 12 degrees higher, you should be considering working on back flushing your system or replacing it. Next, I would recommend changing all the fluids. Get fresh coolant in. I use CAT EC1 rated coolant or ELC coolant. I use Motorcraft oil typically. I do want to try Schaefer's when my 6 liters back, but what am I missing? Get fresh gear oil in both front and rear axles. Get fresh transmission fluid in your transfer case and your transmission. I also highly recommend getting a deep dish cast aluminum pan and using a 6.4 filter for your transmission as well, and then monitor your truck. Those are probably the top things you can do. If you have a plastic intercooler pipe, get rid of that, put a metal one on there as well. And for the most part, those are the go-to. Check fuel pressure. You want to make sure you're at least making 45 psi fuel pressure and preferably 50 to 55. And again, check out, I have a video, it wasn't that terribly long ago that I did what to do first when you buy a 6.0 Powerstroke. Nice guy. I've used the Elm 325, is it? 327. There are nicer adapters out there that I would like to mess with and try, but I've had decent luck with that one. Your O3 has leaks, smells like power steering fluid, just started whining and weird humming and dash. Yeah, it sounds like power steering, brother. That's Zach. I think you have the power steering leak. Definitely do a blue spring mod. It's fairly cheap and your injectors will thank you. Yep, definitely listen to Doom there. And use the Ford part. Don't use the knockoff parts. There's like zero quality control. Some people see crazy high numbers. Some people see really low numbers. So it's a little more expensive to get the Ford part, but you won't have to goof around hoping you're making enough pressure. '06, yeah. I recently started working with Blessed Performance. Use code 6OBROS. If you go in the description, there should be a link to Blessed Performance and the coupon code for 10% off their tuning. I think that'd be very beneficial to you. I did just drop the link for an SCT tuner that's the one I recommend. FICM. Yeah, Robert. So there's, I think it's BD Diesel or not BD Diesel. They might sell higher voltage ones. Bulletproof Diesel kind of really made popular I think it's 58 volts and 53 volt FICMs. I personally don't recommend going any higher than 48. I think it's more beneficial to tune a FICM than it is to run a higher voltage. Don't get me wrong, the higher voltage will produce a higher, more power. It basically increases timing with it. So it does, people liked it for a long time because it gave better cold start conditions and they could tell a difference in performance, but it is hard on your injectors. So Robert, do you know, because there are a lot of small shops that started, Eric, go OEM, not a Sinister Diesel fan here. I like the color in the logo. Dude, I get it. And that blue is a sharp color. Just Sinister Diesel frustrates me. Robert, does yours have the bulletproof diesel billet cover on it, or does it have the factory cover and just an aftermarket company logo or sticker? Yeah, Doom, I agree with you. Sticking with 48's best. Tuning, I think, is with an orange aftermarket sticker. I'm not sure who that is, Robert, to be honest. $2,000. I don't know where. This is what gets me is Sinister Diesel once had a really good reputation in the aftermarket community, and in the last like 5 to 7 years, it's really gone downhill. And they're pushing products that aren't proven, that are more expensive than proven products that work. And they've kind of developed a bad reputation. They've kind of become known for, there's questions about whether or not their intercooler pipes are made in America like they claim, or are they the Chinese knockoffs that everybody can go buy. I don't know. I do think their degas bottle looks pretty cool, but I'm just not a big fan of theirs. Like their custom fabrication shops, I've seen like wildly not okay products, like exhaust manifolds that don't match the head, are nowhere near anything that resembles flat, and they're charging more than like they're charging more than like going to SoCal Billet, who's arguably one of the best custom shops in the country. Sinister Diesel's charging more than those guys. I just don't know where they get off with that because they don't have the reputation of it. Eric, I would not buy that head. The only cylinder heads I regularly recommend are Kill Devil Diesel. You could go, don't get me wrong, you could go to Choate Engineering as well. He has good products, and I believe Asheville has a good product also. But Kill Devil Diesel is my preferred cylinder head manufacturer. Yeah, Robert, it could be one of the FICM boards people have bought off eBay for a really reasonable price, and I've heard good things about most of them. But if I had to guess, that's probably all the more it is from one of those. I forget who your Quick Tricks. I've heard good things about Quick Tricks. I have never run their stuff. I have a friend that ran them, and his truck ran amazing. Currently, I'm loving my Blessed performance tuning on my 6.7, but I will say I really think people should try Blessed Performance. Truck Source Diesel's good. Warren Diesel's I've heard great things, but 6.0 bros for a coupon code, and you get 10% off your tuning price from Blessed Performance, and they've developed really, really good reputation for tuning trucks. Speaking of degas bottle, what's up with that new degas bottle that was being custom made that you was in R&D a while back? Robert, they are up for sale. You can go to the best way to get a hold of him is on Instagram. I haven't been on there. Ha, that's funny. Wild West Diesel. I'm just gonna get a link to his. I do think I have a link now that I think about it down in my description. He's made quite a few of these bottles now. So I think he's got it pretty well figured out, but it's Rhino _Diesel _products _7.3. No, I want to share this. Instagram on your laptop is freaking awful. They need to fix that. That's where you can buy that degas bottle from. We did a video installing it. It's on Josh's truck. Josh actually drove his truck here tonight. That truck doesn't see a ton of use, and I'm assuming it started up again. He was worried about the batteries because he didn't come get me. There is a link in the description. Beautiful. Good. But yeah, just reach out to him on there. Tell him I sent you. He'll take care of you. I mean, to have, it's a cool degas bottle. It's stainless steel. It's super durable. You know, you're not going to have issues with it. He has a lifetime warranty if you do. I know they're not cheap. I will say that. I know people kind of harp on that, but I do think it's the best one on the market. Thoughts on a mild water meth kit on a high mileage 6.0, no needing power, but curious if it really does drop EGTs, miles per hour gain, really what they claim. So, Steven, I plan to trial this on my 6.7. I've wanted to run one on my 6-liter for a long time, but never got around to it. My 6.7, right after I do the intercooler piping kit on it, is when I'm going to upgrade that. I might do a giveaway with the intercooler pipe that's on there. I upgraded the factory prone failing one to one that Greg over at Diesel Automotive sells, and it's a really nice kit. I like it. So maybe when I do the full intercooler piping kit, maybe we'll do a random giveaway to somebody. Or sell it really cheap. Not sure. Kind of depends on where we're at the time. The EPA is not welcome in this live stream or on my channel as a whole. That's why we're strictly doing emissions compliant tuning on the 6.7. It's very upsetting. Sneaky delete. Like, don't they have water in Michigan to be fixing or something like that? Isn't that still a thing? Like most of the country, I believe, actually. We're digressing slightly. But my excursion identifies as delete. Your excursion identifies as factory compliant, you mean. It just might be deleted. For some of you guys that missed it, I know some of the names the last little bit I haven't seen. Guys, when we hit 10,000 subscribers, we're going to do a 3-person giveaway. All 3 are going to get a special limited edition 10K t-shirt that we're going to only do for 1,000 subscribers. So the second we hit 11,000, that shirt's going away. It'll never come back. We're going to give away, I'm going to purchase tuning from Blessed Performance for somebody. We'll probably give away one of my X3 tuners. So we have a few things we're going to do for people. So hope, just again, guys, the goal is to hit 10,000 before the new year. Also, we're going to do a 4-hour live stream when we hit 10,000 subscribers. So a lot of stuff to look forward to, some very exciting stuff for the channel, for me personally as well. So guys, help get the word out so that we can hit that, so we can do this stuff. I think it'd be really cool to do it sooner than later, but I will say I would need to have the highest earning months I've ever had in subscriber counts to do it before the new year. So we're on track to hit it prior to the new year, but like literally like the last day or 2 of December is when we're on track to hit it. So let's hope we can make something happen and hit that goal a little sooner. I plan to try to do a lot to help advertise for the channel and make this happen. If we could do it in November, I would be through the roof, because I also want to do some sales with the merch stuff out there. Get you guys some discounts to the Teespring thing, some free shipping, things like that for the holiday season. So all things we're working on doing, and I think I might be missing some questions. We'll end up hitting the cross member, in most cases changing out the downpipe from 3. Yeah, so it's Amia. I like what you talked about here. We will talk about my 6-liter in just a minute. I want to talk about, this is kind of something I think is cool that people don't talk about a lot. So Josh and I both run full 4-inch for off the turbo all the way back on our 6-liters. But when I did it, that's done. Got to switch to water now. At least I don't have to hide a logo, though. But anyway, when I switched to the 4-inch, Josh asked me if I did mine years before we did it on Josh's, and he said to me, he goes, "How's it feel? Do you feel like you got performance?" And I said it felt like I lost performance down low and gained it in the higher, like towards the upper end of the middle RPM band through the high part of it. But down low, I felt like I lost it. So for a lot of people, actually running a 3.5-inch downpipe to a 4-inch rest of your exhaust is actually going to be a really nice setup overall. I only really recommend the full 4-inch for people that are looking to create higher horsepower trucks. In the end, I do think, now when we took Josh's downpipe off in that video, there's an exhaust video of us doing that. The downpipe looked like it's only 3 inches in the Fords, or at least that Ford. It's 3.5 in my 6.7. But on Josh's truck, it definitely didn't seem like it was 3.5 inches at the downpipe, but the rest of the exhaust was 3.5. So I would recommend going to a 3.5. I mean, is it going to be a huge difference in the performance you lose down low for what you gain up top? No, but in most cases, you're going to be better served by a 3.5-inch downpipe to a 4-inch rest of your system. Yeah, Doom, you definitely lose a little down low in spool up time. I mean, don't get me wrong, you gain it at other parts of it, but initially, yeah, at cruising speeds, like when you're, on the highway, you have a little less performance there, but you do gain it on the high end. The 3.5-inch, I think, is a nice compromise for guys that are like towing with their trucks. Like, honestly, at some point, we should probably get on Josh's truck a 3.5-inch downpipe, because for that's a tow build. It's going to perform better for the purpose of what's going there. Doom, yes, I think you would enjoy a 3.5-inch downpipe to a 4-inch straight pipe more than a full 4-inch system. From what I've seen, Josh and I both run 4-inch exhausts. I've obviously towed pretty heavy with it without really significant issues, but when you couple it with larger turbo and larger tires, the factory downpipe is 3 inches. Yep, very tiny. I would say in the exhaust video Josh and I did, we have a link to both the 4-inch downpipe and the 3.5-inch downpipe. And we show the downpipe that we take off and where we cut it and everything and how that looks. So, for you guys that are wondering how small it actually is, that'll kind of give you a pretty good idea of what you would be working with. Sorry, just checking one thing out here. How small the Y pipes are. I went with the BD ones, man. I love those BD ones. But yeah, no, when I do look at Y pipes, it is kind of like, man, how does all that come from there? But you also have to figure, what are they? Probably 1.5 to 2 inches in diameter. If they're 2 inches, you're only taking half of the exhaust on each side. So combined, it'd be the equivalent of 4. I don't know if they're a full 2 inches a piece, though, but I know the BD ones I really, really like and highly recommend them to everybody. I personally think it's even worse on the 6.7s. You look at those; they look obnoxiously small on the 6.7 pipes. Guys, I do want to say I think we might be coming towards the end. The goal is, like I said, the goal is to continue. Saw a big increase in views this last little bit. Here, Ethan, I'll get you a link before. Like I said, we're not going to stop right this instant, but we are going to slow down here. Let's see what pops up. It's become so annoying to find stuff on Amazon. Because of the EPA lately, like there's like renaming of their products so they don't show up when people are looking for them under their names. You have to kind of know what you're looking for, and I obviously do not. BD Diesel, maybe it is. There it is. Again, this is an affiliate link here. Yeah, Robert, I think the discrete diesel ones are about the same price as the BD Diesel ones. Overall, I personally prefer the BD Diesel ones, partially for that collector where each side comes to. It's just such a smooth passageway for air to flow through. I think it helps prevent a little bit of turbulence because the factory ones, if I remember, discrete diesel uses factory pipes and then cuts out the factory pieces and puts in vibrant flex bellows in there. But yeah, BD Diesel makes super nice stuff. Discrete Diesel is known to have pretty amazing stuff as well. But I just, again, I'm partial to the BD Diesel ones because I do think the airflow is a little smoother in there. But again, I've heard phenomenal things about discrete diesel. Next, guys, we have the first tune review from Blessed Performance on our 6.7 truck coming. This week, I'm waiting on new taillights for the 6.7 to come, so that there'll be a video for that. We're waiting on the DPF back exhaust to come. We're going to be putting that on as well. So those of you guys that are hanging out this long, I'll let you know we have a JAMO 4-inch DPF back system coming. So excited about that. I don't know if it'll be the last system that stays on there. I really like the dual tips that a lot of trucks have. So at some point, I will probably switch to MagnaFlow or MBRP for that on there. Izzy. Hey. Got a quick check on my dog here. She's doing weird stuff. Izzy. Hey. Oh, were you having a dream? Huh, pup? Okay, she's good. She was just having a dream. She looked up at me like, what's my problem? So those are some stuff coming for the 6.7. Like I said, down the road at some point, I plan to do an intercooler piping kit. And then after that, I want to do a water meth injection kit and start testing. I want to start putting to the theory to the test. Do you actually cool down the exhaust temps, and do you actually get better mileage from it? I hear they say some power. I'm not really looking for power from it. I'm looking for cooler exhaust temps, and I'm looking for that truck to get better MPGs at the same time. So those are some future projects. Also, when the white 6 liter is up and running, then I can have my 6.7 down long enough. After the intercooler piping kit, I'll be able to put on the exhaust manifolds from BD Diesel. But I am expecting that to be a chore. One, because I'm worried all those bolts are going to break. So we're going to heat every single bolt up. But in order for me to do that, the truck's going to need to be down for a bit. So I need that to happen before. So I need my white truck back before I can mess with that. But that is the game plan for the truck. And hopefully that's all done for next towing season. I do need to find somebody. I'd like to find somebody relatively close that I can hook up to about 10,000 pounds and tow around with, because I'd like to kind of test these individual things to see how it does. I think that'd be kind of helpful for people looking to modify their 6.7 on if these things actually work. But this winter, we're probably going to do some more cosmetic stuff. Doom, you're probably going to see not a ton of power from it. It's a Mia. I assure you, I will not slow down from 75 miles an hour. No, so typically when towing, I very seldomly go more than 2 or 3 miles per hour over the speed limit. I just don't think it's worth it. Really, I'd like to see my mileage come up from about 9.5 to, if I could be more in the 11 range, that would be nice. Now we are gonna, before I tow to South Carolina next year, we are going to get a 60-gallon fuel. SMB sells a 60 or a 65, or maybe both. But we're going to put one of those on the 6.7. So we're not going to have fuel issues while towing. But I am curious, like, does it actually help with fuel economy? I think it'll help to an extent. I don't think it'll be significant, is my theory. We'll try a few different things, and I even plan to try different mixtures when I do this. The 6.0 refuses to tow any slower than 72. BD Diesel did release a EPA compliant version of their Y pipe. They still have the race version, which the race version is on my white truck. Hopefully no EPA agent reads or listens to this part. I do think it's ridiculous they attack people the way they do. I've gotten, so the best mileage I've gotten in my white truck, the only thing done was the exhaust. It was 100% factory. And I didn't realize this. It had the wrong load range tires on it at the time. It had C-rated tires, which are 6-ply. You need 10-ply tires for it. But I got 23.5 driving down to the beach and 23.5 coming home. I had issues, not so much with the high pressure oil pump, but a gasket right above it. And I replaced the high pressure oil pump anyway, because I'm a winner. But I can't say I've had necessarily high pressure oil pump issues. Joe, what year's your truck would be my next question. Guys, again, an 04. Do you have the early style pump or the late style? Oh, 12 was telling. I wish I got 12 in my truck. So how heavy is your camper, Ethan? Okay, Joe, you might have, then it's more likely that you'd have a high pressure oil pump issue. You could pressure test the system. You could check your ICP. You could check your IPR before you actually go in and take out. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Before you actually go in and mess with the high pressure oil pump, but the early ones do fail. Ethan, 12.5. And that's heavy, and that's pretty good fuel economy. I do not get that good in my 6-liter. Now, some of it could be the big tires, factory gearing, and a few other things, but I don't typically drive like crazy fast when I'm hooked up to my camper. Once or twice I have when I really needed to meet like a deadline, but typically I don't go more than 5 over at the worst. So Nick, there are a few late 04s that have an early style pump and late style rails. There are a few of them out there. There's technically 3 different setups in the 04 year. Who built the cages, Joe? Who built the cages, Joe? Who did it? Who built them? Well, guys, I am going to turn in here for the night. I have a long day ahead of me, but videos coming. Chow, I think you're okay, brother. Don't get afraid. That's one. You got to realize how many people have come into this live stream tonight. I don't really know right now. I won't know till I actually shut the live stream off. It doesn't let me see any of that information. But I mean, we've probably had over 100 people actually pass through here. Think about, oh, can I actually look up who's in here? Hold on. Now I can only look up people that have commented. That's still kind of cool. It was throwing an ICP code, replace it, still acting erratic. No, I didn't want that. So, hey, thanks, man. I will probably, depending on my schedule, I think I might try to do a few roll call. I think I might try to, for the next month, see how it, again, if I can fit it in, maybe try to do weekly live streams, alternating days between Friday nights and Sunday nights. So I do think that's something I want to try. And we'll see if I see that participation goes down. I'll probably go back to every other week, because every other week I knew participation was really, really good. So we'll kind of see how it goes. But I do think for the next month, I'm going to attempt weekly live streams. The goal is to have the biggest month we've ever had. I want to, so our record is about 75,000 views in 1 month. The goal is to crush that by at least 10,000. I don't know if we can make that happen, but that is the goal. The highest month for subscribers is like 430 something. I'll have to look that up. The goal is to hit 500 this month. So I'm setting some goals that I've never come close to before. The goal is to hit them. So I need your guys' help to make that happen. We're going to keep trying to do all the hard work here, keep grinding away at it, and hopefully it pays off. So like I said, we got a lot of videos planned. We got 3 custom tune reviews coming up from Blessed Performance for the 6.7. When our white 6-liter's back, he's first on the chopping block for tune reviews, followed by the other guys too. So thank you guys so much. Those of you guys that did the super chats, thank you for the support. I appreciate you guys donating to the channel. Those of you guys buying merch, thank you so much. The affiliate link purchases, guys, seriously, I just can't thank you guys all enough for all you do for me. But you got a free truck? I could go for a free truck. Good night, guys. I'll see you in the next live stream again, and thank you, everybody. Everybody, guys, have a good night. Have a good work week, and I'll see you soon. Oh, if it lets me end the live stream.